Was there ever any conversations of UTA saying, skip AFI, let's get to work?
It was really interesting. We thought that might happen. I really wanted to come here because, as you guys know already, it's the best. So I really wanted to come here. But we also had meetings with Searchlight. And I'll never forget, we went to the Searchlight headquarters and met with the whole team there. And they were like, go to AFI.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
They said, go to AFI. It's a fantastic program. Continue to develop your voice. The short film was my application film to AFI. And AFI at the time, you had to have a specific prompt. And the prompt for my year was to tell a story in 5 minutes about a change of heart. And I think there was no dialogue.
No dialogue?
Yeah, no dialogue.
And did you have to shoot on a phone? Was it that the requirement?
Yep,
right?
you had to shoot on a phone.
Yeah.
And so I was living in Switzerland at the time, and I wanted to brainstorm a concept that would hit the AFI prompt, but also hit every other film school's prompts, just to try to get in it somewhere.
You had your bets, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so my dad and I co-write. We're brainstorming a concept of what we could do, and we were very much inspired by the work of the Coens, and specifically No Country for Old Men, and that premise of coming upon a drug deal gone bad. But I wanted to subvert it and spin it on its head in a way I'd never seen before, and we very quickly came up with a seamstress because it's an exact juxtaposition to that world.
This was his application video with some serious production value.
Yeah, so we shot it simultaneously on an iPhone and a cinema camera.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were shooting it, my DP was like, why do we have to have this iPhone attached to the camera? So he wasn't even looking at the iPhone. And the iPhone version, which I'm keeping hidden, which is what we submitted to AFI. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it because that's not what you showed for Real Day. You showed this.
I showed this for Real Day.
Yeah.
But luckily we shot a version on a A7S, which was good enough for theatrical.
Yeah.
But it was this incredibly lucky situation where once we made it, I blasted it out to all the schools and then also into the world. And it ended up in the hands of a guy named Peter Spears, who produced Nomadland and Call Me By Your Name. And he was like, guys, I love this. Can I send this to my friends? And we were like, sure. We didn't know what that meant at the time. And then a week later, he called us and he said, I have 3 pieces of news for you. The first is that Searchlight wants to buy the film and put it in theaters alongside Ready or Not.
Yeah.
Which we'll
get there, yeah.
Get there. And the second was that Joel Coen wanted to meet for coffee to talk about it. And then Joel's agent started.
Joel Coen as in the Coen brothers. So we're all clear. Yeah.
Oh, and he was incredible. And his advice was to turn it into a feature, but go to AFI first, develop.
He said that?
He was
Were you accepted at that point?
It was all happening at the same time. So I actually had an interview with Rob Spera, which I know he's not.
He teaches,
okay.
He teaches a second-year class, yeah.
Yeah, so I was able to go into the interview and say, Joel Coen said I should come here, and Searchlight bought the short, and so it all kind of happened around the same time. Once we finished the film, we went back to the town and screened it there. And they have they don't have a theater, they have a gymnasium that we projected it in, and the whole town came.
All 100.
All 100. And again, they're all these elderly people. So I was like, oh my God. I mean, they knew what the film was about because we screened the short film in the town, before we went into production, and they were happy that we were coming in. I don't know if they were okay with the violence or not, but they let us in. But when we were screening the feature, I was standing in the back, I was terrified, and it was going well. It got up until the ending where the father gets shot in that final Rube Goldberg scheme. And this elderly woman sitting in the front gets up and pushes her chair back and starts storming towards the back of the gym where I'm, again, just standing against the wall. And I'm like, just praying that she's going to walk out, but she just locks eyes with me and starts gunning towards me. And she's shaking her head, and she looks like she's about to cry. And I was like, oh my God, the violence must have,
Yeah.
And she was like, how could you do this in my town? This is, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. And she was like, well, I really like the script and the cinematography, the visuals are cool. And so she starts listing all these compliments. And I was like, oh, thank you. But she was pissed. She was completely pissed. And at the end, she was like, now all these Americans are going to come into our town and they're just going to ruin our town, all these American tourists. Everyone was so experienced. Like Caroline Goodall, she's worked with Spielberg twice, and she was in Schindler's List and Hook, and so I think a lot of it was trying to show people that, and our crew was very tiny, and again, we didn't even have a focus puller, so you can imagine the behind the scenes is just me with my portable monitor and Sebastian with his tiny camera, and so it took some time getting trust.
Convincing them it's a real movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Caroline actually, she told me, towards the end of the shoot, she was like, I now get it. I get that this is a way you can shoot a movie. And she was like, I'm used to, working with Spielberg where we have an entire day to shoot, or, 3 days to shoot a scene like this, not half a day.
Right.
But I think she then, the whole team started to appreciate working in a very run-and-gun manner. We knew it was a very nonverbal role, so we wanted to see people pretend to drive through the crime scene just in their house.
That was their audition, just
yeah, it was, and it was like going through the crime scene, and some people were like, okay, they're not seeing it, but when Eve did it, it was like she was on the road, even though she was in her hotel room or bedroom or wherever she was, and she was like in tears at the end of it, and I was like, oh my God, she's fantastic. But the second round was doing an improvised dance in your any space you want, and because I knew we weren't gonna be able to hire a choreographer, and the scene isn't supposed to feel choreographed. It's supposed to feel like this spurred by her want to set up this contraption and also to distract.
Yeah. It also feels cathartic for her.
Exactly.
After everything she's been through. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was, and I knew that was going to be one of the hardest scenes to shoot because, like you said, she's kind of has to play three things. She's playing the technical with what's going down on her feet, the emotional, and trying to put on this facade. And Eve just nailed it in her audition. And so I was actually very relaxed for the dance scene because she had already done it, and I was actually very surprised because she asked to watch her audition again before shooting that day.
To do what she did in the audition.
Just to see what I liked in that. And I know that's, some actors like to watch themselves, some don't, but she found that helpful to watch it and kind of be in the space. But I would never have been able to pull that off the way she did. She's just fearless.